let us say, phenomenal experiences of all living organisms on a certain planet. Né? That would be trees, plants, and in conception of some philosophers like zum Beispiel Whitehead, even the clouds, the wind, the rivers, the mountains, the woods, like elementary composites, compounds, they certainly must have some structuring software. Okay, if you take it only like celluloses of the trees, must have a certain molecular structure, and if you see this molecular structure as a software of the shape of the tree, then it is also a kind of software of living matter. And in individual organisms, it is absolutely obvious that they experience a soul-like quality of the inner world, even though even one bacteria or one cell organism, very small, if you put it under a microscope, and it's a certain bacteria which is drawn to light. It makes some photosynthesis underwater, but it needs light. And so as soon as you turn the light on or you put it outside on the sun, it starts to move to the surface. Why does it move? It is not a mechanic robot with ad-log. It must somehow experience in the realm of its experience, it's not the presence of the light.
But what is this?
This is not in a robot. It is easily to compare with the robot. In a robot, it would be like you put some optic device which registers the light photons. The light photons are registered some plate, whatever, and and then you write a program. If so many photons hit this plate, move this electromotor or start this electromotor. There will be a switch which would start an electromotor, and basically the robot would start walking or lifting his hand towards the sun. But there would be no experience. It would be all absolutely mechanic and computational.
It's instruction based.
Okay. Whereas in the organism, there must be some inner quality with the phenomenologists called qualia. Qualia. This is the unmeasurable, undetectable quality of inner experience. If neurologists and all these kinds of freaks that measure the electricity, electromagnetic fields, and excitation in the neural cells, can follow the excitation of the neural cells. First, like if I touch you, you have a pressure receptor under the skin. It reacts like piezo crystal, and then it changes into electromagnetic nerve impulse. Nobody knows. This should be learned. What is the transfer of nerve impulse through the nerve? Nerve is a long cell, a series of cells, one after the another, and it works like this: that you have on the membrane of the nerve cells, you have cation and anion atoms, plus and minus. It is calcium and natrium. Natrium is plus, I think, and calcium is minus. And
both are plus.
They are simply the excitation means that these ions, what we call them cations and anions, they get into a disbalance, and they rush through the membrane, and this is the excitation. And it happens close to the membrane of the other cells, and in this way it is passed on and on and on and on. And there is a certain limit on the speed, because it's not a light speed. So
speed speed of current.
Yes, yes, it may be like 2 meters per second. So that's why a good sportsman and tennis player, which reacts on a net, cannot wait until it reaches his pyramidal cells in the brain here in the front. It would be too long. So he reacts from the spinal cord, somewhere like that. It's just a reaction, like he was burned. Ne? And animals that were too big in the past, like the brontosaurus, ne? They had to have a special second brain in the middle of the spine, and not a brain, but a kind of center that can really.
Talking about the dinosaur, one of the dinosaurs.
Brontosaurus, for example, was almost 25 meters long, and he had a long spine from his tail to his head, and it is so long that it takes a few seconds. If another Pterosaurus Rex started to eat his, his tail, he didn't notice. It took some time. So nature developed a second kind of nerve cluster, a larger nerve cluster in the middle of the spine, which had similar functions as the brain in the head. So he could feel it a half distance, no? And then he could say, shit, don't do it. Okay. So this is it. But let's turn back to the main idea. The qualia, the qualia is not detectable. This is very important. You can follow with the best, even if you would translate the quality, the measurable quantities in the brain cells to the last possible detail level of the state of quanta. Okay, in those atoms of the nerve cell, you would map all the quanta. You would never get the qualia. You would never get the quality which some living organism experience from inside, because it finishes. This is what we call the black box. This is the last measurable moment, last measurable space in the brain, and then it's over. Then you have to ask, if you are testing people, you have to ask them, what do you experience? And they can tell you, but you can never find it in your data.
It's not quantifiable.
This is not quantifiable. That's why it's a completely mistaken. I always am frustrated if I hear the people from artificial intelligence field talking about artificial intelligence. It's nonsense. It does not exist.
No, it does not.
It is, in my concept, intelligence, as we have been talking, is a variation of an organismic soul which can become intelligent by representing the external world or even the internal world. Like if you make an atlas of anatomy, then you represent your inner world. No? But if you make a geographical map of a continent, then you make a representation. For this you need a distance, you need a system of signs and so on, and symbols and words and plans, graphics, and so this is intelligence. If you can represent the qualia, if you can represent your qualities of experience in some external, measurable, and copyable.
Do you think we are evolved enough?
Okay, so, and then what is interesting for me is I have told you.
I think we are still monkeys.
What we have first, we have to change Elon Musk has to make it, because he is Asperg, he is slightly different, but maybe he could understand what we say, that he must say artificial intelligence does not exist. What exists is mimetic intelligence of machines. Ne? The sequence of commands that are algorithmically programmed when it is transferred into some motors, electromotors, so that after certain data is received, then the algorithm commands move these electromotors and in the so-called imitated arm of the robot, but the system is working. is following the command, but never does a robot raise his hand to get a cup of coffee, because he does not have inner qualia experience of his body and of the coffee outside. Nah? So, and the problem with this is that on all planets in the universe, Great Mother is always there, the living organism of the biosphere now, and it is mixing and connecting and uniting and dissociating the software of living matter. This is the pool of all those qualia which all plants, all animals, all clouds and all trees somehow innerly experience. And the rules there are that which is similar likes each other and draws together. Nah? That which is dissimilar draws together somewhere else, nah? Because two dissimilar things may be similar again. Nah? But the similar and the dissimilar from the perspective of one is pulling, pushing this away. So like this, evolution starts and goes on, because there is dynamism, there is development, that which is similar.
What is this? What is this?
This is Akasha. This is the software of living matter. This is not a God somehow, because
I think it is God.
no. God. Well, this is a anything can be God, no?
No, I don't mean like that. I mean not a separate entity, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Life.
What pervades through everything.
Well, why not to call it Mother? Because it is Mother Goddess. Let us, because she's actually giving birth to all these individual organisms. No? From this big pool, no? From this big pool, they separate. Okay, and then it happens that one of those organisms, one of the species, makes this strange step to the side from this and makes a representation of what it is experiencing in the qualia. Okay, it puts a kind of a sign on it. First, a sound like okay, because something dangerous. He's experiencing danger, and he is expressing it by these shouts. And the others are similar, and they understand it. Danger, like 10,000 years, and then they specify the danger according to what part of the planet they live. Now they say tiger and crocodile and eagle and whatever. And then they have good things now, like fire and food, and they yum, and then they words, signs, first pictorial signs, and then shouts, and then words develop, and that it is the beginning. They have a representation of their own inner experience, and it goes on, and then develop religion, philosophy, art, and geography, and architecture, and politics. It's just a quantitative development of this. This is the same principle. It is only much more, and at the end, most of the civilizations in all the planets destroy themselves because the representation, which was very helpful at the beginning, was necessary, but was very close to the qualia they experienced. But at the end, if you talk about subatomic physics and make models and mathematical models, that there are 11 mathematicians on the blackboard can tell you we have 11 space dimensions, and then they go to a psychiatric clinic for a year, and then they return back, say, no, we have 12, and the genome CRISP people they are cutting it, like saying, no, we have the genome of man, we understand everything, we shall make it, it's now this. Then they go to a psychiatric for 2 years, come back saying, we make it better, this is it. Now. And then somebody comes and says, did you notice that trees have much more information in the genome than human beings? Why is it so? What is the information in a tree when it is more than in a human being? No? Okay, we don't know, because again we have no access to the inner perception of a tree. Somebody would say all plants all on the planet are connected, and they have a kind of dreamy state. No? Okay, forget it. And at the end, they make mistakes in those very complicated representations by necessity, because it's too much. Simply, it's too much, and then they destroy themselves by these mistakes in the period of the development of the civilization, when it is possible to make technology according to those plans. As long as it is not possible to make technology, then you can make all kind of crazy dreams in your representations. As long as there was no technology, religions can be, created. People can go crazy and see gods and everything. But nothing happens, because it is all just imagination. But if you can make, according to subatomic models, you can make weapons, and you can make hybrids, or whatever, then it goes seriously wrong. No? And unfortunately, I feel that this is the most frequent fate of all planetary civilizations. They destroy themselves. And this is what is just awaiting us now, because if you are a sensitive, normal human being, you must say this. Either it is a completely madhouse, psychiatric clinic. No? If you have men in super jets throwing bombs on children down there and saying, well, we must do it because below there are probably terrorists. We have to do it. No? Okay, so now it happens in Palestine. No? Okay? And if you invent a medicine which you don't test, but you say, well, it could make a profit if we would force everybody to take the injection, so let us make it. No? Why not? Maybe there will be collateral damage, some 100 million people will die, but there are too many. Okay, let's do it. And then comes this Klaus Schwab and this Harari and this Kurzweil and this Silicon Valley madman, that they want to supplant, they want to change the human. They say, we are going to change what you think is a human being. No? It will be artificial intelligence and artificial bodies. No? And I tell you, there is a serious mistake in categorical thinking.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because there are
it's very narrow.
There are two main mistakes in the human thinking. Very simple. First type, you take completely different things and you imagine they are the same.
Yeah.
And you treat them as if they were the same. Okay. So this is, you take machines and human beings and say, oh, they are the same, we shall do it. No, we can say, first there was this metaphor when artificial computers came, so like, well, how shall we develop them? Well, let us imagine the machines could work in the same way as human brain. So we shall make a model of human brain and we'll try to transfer it. And slowly it was changed, and now we'll say, no, the human beings are machines. They function as computers. We can change them. We can program them. No? So this is first categorical mistake. Taking two essentially different entities and dealing with them in the process of thinking about them and applying technology on them as if they were the same. And the other mistake is you should take things that are actually essentially similar or the same, and you treat them differently. Like you say, you take the trees and the human beings, and you say, this is completely different. We can process them like, like nothing. No, they are not living, okay? But they are living, actually. They are much more similar than machines and man, okay? So, and another is, I don't know how it is possible that it is continuously repeated, this mistake. Linguistics. If a scientist who is telling, I'm going to be important for the human civilization, if he does not study linguistics, he is not applicable, he should not be allowed. Because the thinking instrument of the human race is the language. And if you don't understand the essence of language and the structure of language, you are not allowed to use it to make changes in the human civilization. And there you have the first important information, that the sign is not the meaning of the sign. You have signs that are the like black marks on the paper are letters, no? Okay, and you put them together, and then you have a collection of four, like, you have this shape which you say it's V, and you have this shape R, T, E, R, okay, but it is not flowing water, it is a sign, okay. And the mistake is done that the computational science and then artificial intelligence have decided to treat the signals, because in machines then the signs become signals. They are not just letters in a book, they are states of electromagnetic current or whatever, and they think these signals are the meaning of the signals. That's why they can make the mistake that if we upload, if we register all the signals running in a certain system, if we can store them, and if we then upload them somewhere, then we shall get the meaning.
No, but it's not like
That is not. We shall get again only signals. So if you would scan a human being, all the data absolute to the quantum level, what is coming out of his body and his brain, and so okay, you have it, and you upload it to an artificial robot with some silicon brain or whatever. Nothing will happen. These signals will, as long as there is electric current, they will circulate in the system, but there will be nobody to experience anything. So this is a great mistake, and I don't know why it is so fascinating. I think Nietzsche would say the desire to perfect the cognitive models of experience reality of this qualia, the desire to make them external and controllable, is an expression of decadence. Dying races do this. As long as they are happy with what is, the smell and the fire and motion and running and sleeping and loving and dancing, as long as you are, it's enough, because it's happening and you experience it. Like children never come onto the idea that let's make models of this. We are playing in the sand and in the water at the sea. Well, it's good, but let's make a model. That's why the grown-ups who force these children to leave the natural surroundings and go in a city into some barbed-wired artificial playground, it's an expression of decadence and of hate towards life, unconscious hate, because the decadent naturally think they are.
And it's a chain reaction, right?
There's a chain reaction. So it is, Nietzsche would say, it so happens that after some time the genetic variations support the weak ones, yeah? Because the weak ones are the majority. They pull together and say, we are the good ones. Those who live in the forest and lie, run and shout are happy. They are the primitive ones. We are the advanced part of the human race, and we shall.
Miserable and
We will make an artificial world for us, no? And unfortunately, this is the fate of all organic life. Nietzsche was trying very hard to separate the happy few who were still strong and who could somehow enjoy the present moment of living and say, well, let's put them together and hope a new race can be propagated if they separate from the. Well, that's very difficult to understand because you would say, don't pity the ill and the weak and the tired, because you become like them if you start to serve them. Okay, this is the Christian morality, and the Christian morality was the beginning of Nietzsche's idea when he said this is the morality of ressentiment, that those who were envious of the strong and happy and ignorous Romans were simply strong. Okay, they at the beginning they became also decadent, but like around the birth of Christ and so. They were still strong and they like good food and they enjoy and they don't care. And they have gods that simply are projections of their power. And they are very tolerant and they say, oh, whatever you believe, as long as you pay taxes, we don't care. There were 3,000 churches in Rome in the time of Jesus, Palestine, because the Romans were very tolerant. They say, you can believe whatever you want to believe as long as you do your military service and pay your taxes, we don't care. And these, the kind of envy and the art of not being able to take part in it because the Hebrews were a priestly nation. They had terrible rules and constrictions and system and terrible God, which will punish you if you don't do this. The Greeks and the Romans didn't fear their gods. They were simply saying, we put some fire for you and we give you some beautiful clothes on your statue, and then you should do what we ask you. If not, we shall not believe you. Even now, today, there are some nations in Asia that have they punish their gods. Like, you know, if they do some rituals and there is harvest and the harvest does not work well, they get the gods down and drag them and throw them away. You know? Because they didn't apply, they didn't comply. So, but this is going too far away. The serious thing is that we cannot probably change it. We cannot probably change it because the majority of the European and Western population is decadent, and so it needs. If you look at the people at the street, anytime you come out, you see somebody watching the smartphone. Even at the lake, when the lake is beautiful, a nice weather and a sunshine, I feel it directly that these people are not there. Because the qualia they experience, the smell of the wind, the colors of the trees, the motion of the own body is not enough. It does not give base satisfaction, let us say. It does not radiate living power, because living power has been reduced already. So cognition comes, representation comes, which gives meaning. And this is what we started with, what I said in the morning, that understanding something cognitively is an act of power, of the egoistic willpower to subdue the phenomenal world, to replace it with an artificial cognitive world. And you will never get away of it if your phenomenal experience of the morning, of the trees, of the skies, of your breakfast, if it is already so weak that it does not give you enough. It is not enough. That's why I wake up and I said, I also have this impulse to read, even reading about it like a Zen book, reading a book which say exactly what I am saying now, is an act of understanding. And this is again decadence in a certain sense. If you have to read it to feel it, I mean, then you can cognitively persuade yourself that it's logical, that it's correct, and I have to change myself. I have to start to feel more. Well, if you are decadent, it does not help you, and you become angry, actually. You become angry, and you don't want to read it anymore. You don't want to hear it, and you are going to persecute everybody who says it if you are a powerful person, because they are showing you that you are decadent. So this is the situation we are now today in. And great thinkers were hoping. What did they hope? They hope first, some strange change will happen out of the core of, let's say, of Mother Gaia, because Mother Gaia is the mother of all living organisms, and she may feel that this one does not, it's over. It will destroy maybe much more than it is bringing. So let's finish it, okay. And or a genetical. This is the Lamblèche variation. His idea is, as I told you, the core ideas are perfect, like you have them in India with mother and this Mother Gaia and everywhere. But then it floats up into a huge system. And according to this huge system, Anthropos is a genome project from the center of the galaxies that was spread into the galaxy and let alone. Let's see what happens. 10 times already civilization, a humanoid civilization, has evolved and has destroyed itself. Now we are the 10th variation now about to destroy ourselves, and his interpretation is that for the first time in cosmic history, the design of this genome didn't stay out of its creation, it merged with the creation. It morphed the Gaia, the Sophia, this aeon, this generative power from the center of galaxy, actually morphed into the body of the earth. Okay, and now she is realizing from inside, experiencing that her body is in danger because the human beings are going to destroy the biosphere. So she started, and according to his idea, which is, people can have stuff, around 2014, like 200 years before the due time, because these aeons, when they create anthropomorphic species and let it evolve, they check it once in a day. But the day for the aeons is the Platonic year, which is 26,000 years. Then they look at it and say, how is it going? Like in a laboratory. Should we change something? This moment comes like in 200 years, like 2250, the Platonic year will finish according to astrological charts. But this is too late. So the Mother Gaia Sophia has, according to his interpretation, initiated a genomic change in the genome of anthropos on this planet, and so new type of man will arise. No? New children will be born that have a fresh love for the organic and don't need representations, or already living old guys like we will have these strange ideas that it is so as they say, that the representation is dangerous. No? And I mean, at the beginning good, at the end dangerous. And they will start to point and warn and like that. Okay, this is what we are doing. And personally, maybe we should also go to a biological farm and plant some tomato. or play tennis, or as I did in the morning. If you wake up and you have this feeling of emptiness, or of not being fully, yourself or happy, this is logical because you are a sensitive being which is living at the end of the human race, and you feel it, and you feel that something's wrong, and you feel the desire to understand, and so you open a book which explains this to you, okay. And this is, okay, for some time it is good, but well, you should not stay there, because then you are like, again, agnostic, somebody, a priest who needs his God to understand, and actually understanding is suppressing this inner feeling of something is wrong. And you should stand up and say, okay, I'm standing. Okay, I'm going to make some qigong. I'm going to go to the kitchen and make myself breakfast, and I will watch it, and I will smell it, and I will taste it, and I will touch it, and I will try to say this is enough. Okay. Naturally, if there is a beautiful girl who is making the coffee with you, is even more better. It is more qualia, more sensual stuff. Ne? So people should get together, and when we talk about it, it's different when you read a book.
True.
Because we are emotionally evolved.
Yeah, that's true.
We are two, and this is what Lamplash means co-evolution. He says like this project of Anthropos is not like in a laboratory where the doctors or the scientists do it and they completely control it. No. We are part of it and we can change it by, our ideas are emanating, like, morphogenetic fields, images, emotions, and this despair, and this hope, and this desire, and so is everything emanating. The Akashic records are registering, okay, and they are according to the principle of attraction of the similar, they are gone. Repulsion of the dissimilar, they were talking about some other stuff.
It grows.
The girls.
No, it grows.
It grows and it can attract. I personally have this desire because I visualize also this ideal goddess, girl, fairy, whatever incarnation of the Sophia Gaia. She may start to be attracted and say, okay, these guys are. I wonder if I morph into a beautiful girl, then I can get insights when I live with them how to change the genome, and she can make a practicum with us, or something like that. You see, all the trees will be, don't fall on our head because they say, look, these guys are on the very spearhead of evolution. They are co-evolving. Man. So we see it, no? I came down here with BGs to stretch my spine, and now I have recorded a historical talk.
Yeah, this is how the universe works, right? You can
See,
never,
it's there, 40 minutes of valuable stuff.
you can never predict.
This is what is a spontaneous, growing convolution.
When the mighty sons of the spheres beyond distributed the elements of earth, they laid down the foundation stones of highest spiritual birth, which have existed since thousands of years, timeless now, in future and past, light years away from our daily tears. Those unperceived moments which always last. Poseidon became Lord of earthquake and seas, master of oceans and all their winds, God of an island, there lived a family with a daughter of beauty and talent. Atlantis was the island's name, greatest treasury of all times. Human eyes did never see the same. Silver and gold, fertile hills, woodlands and plains. It was situated in front of the strait. They call it the colors of Iraqis. Clinging towards the daughter's name, a princely virgin of goodness and love. So Poseidon fell in love with her and built a shrine on the mountains above, surrounded by a golden wall. And inside he placed his holy dog.